Alright then, welcome back. Whether or not with me, Tsietsi, guys. Yeah, AFCON is going on. It's very heated. It is definitely turning up the heat all the way from Morocco right here into Tokyo. I'm feeling it. It is very cold in Japan, but man, AFCON has been on fire. On fire. Two of my boys are now back. Cameroon out. That means Brian Mbeumo is back at Manchester United. Cote d'Ivoire also out, meaning Amad Diallo is back. Just back in time for us to go get a massive beating by Manchester City over the weekend. It's the Manchester Derby coming up. But yeah, let's get back to things. Bafana, long gone, long out of the Africa Cup of Nations. And yeah, if they had just beaten Cameroon when they had the chance, you know, we could be going against Morocco and would have beaten Morocco. I know Morocco is our daily bread and we would be going to the final. Instead, now it's Morocco going to the final against Senegal. Who would have thought? Wow. What an absolute cracker of semi-finals. Both games were actually. Nigeria, man, they fall into the sword of Morocco during the penalties. And then Senegal beat Egypt 1-0 by Sadio Mane again. And as I'm talking like this, I'm looking at a picture of Sadio Mane here on this computer, or on the iPad with this smile. You know, it looks like this. Yeah, you can tell the guy is really happy. Yeah, I'm happy for them. I'm happy Egypt is out. I'm sorry, you guys. I've got Egyptian friends. Sorry you lost, but I've got one Moroccan friend, Yassine, who's very happy that Morocco has gone through into the finals. And I did say home nations or home countries usually home host nations, they usually have some advantage. You know, home ground advantage has played to their side here, and I think they might even take it all the way. Morocco might win, but let's hope Senegal. I'm gonna be rooting and shouting for Senegal to take it home. I don't want Morocco to win the AFCON. And it feels like a lot of people, you know, have been having this negative spewing out that everything has been done for Morocco to win. I've denied all of that because I will not have it. I hate it when people always say, yeah, people cheat at AFCON or Africans are cheaters and that's why the standards and the competition are never high. That's just crap. That's what's being fed to you by haters and people that are just annoyed that the Africa Cup of Nations is actually so much fun and it's actually so good. So we'll see. Who's your money on? Let me know. Do you think Senegal will have an edge over Morocco come the final? I don't know what time the final is playing. Probably very late that night or early in the morning, Monday morning for me, because I'm thinking it's gonna be on Sunday the 18th, right? Yeah, so which means in Japan it will be playing on Monday morning. But yeah, I'll be holding my thumbs up for Senegal and Sadio Mane. And then to go back to the promise that I made you guys, I'm actually feeling so ashamed. Remember I promised you that I'm going to do a video about the lifestyle of African footballers. I overpromised there. I feel like a proper politician there. I overpromised and I'm definitely going to under-deliver for a number of reasons. Work has been busy, life has just been busy, and so I haven't really been getting a chance to do stuff, to look at what needs to be done. And number two, as I was doing some research or checking out how to put this whole thing together, I realized, man, I'm a scientist to the core. There is not a smidge of creativity in me. This is the best I can do. I can just shoot a video, edit the terrible things out, and then upload it. But to combine with lots of other stuff and make flying in, I don't know, inserts and little pictures popping in out of nowhere, that's very hard. And I think that's going to be needed for this lifestyle of African footballers. So I decided, you know what? Screw that. Let's just have a conversation, starting with just how much these guys get paid. Yeah, I mean, that's like the first thing to look at if you're going to look at the lifestyles of footballers, African footballers in this case. I must add, I really don't give a toss about Europeans or American footballers or anywhere else, South American. I'm just focusing on African footballers, what they do with their money, how they spend their money, how they spend their free times, and what it is that they get up to. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this lifestyle of footballers thing, I thought it would be interesting because a while ago there were videos or pictures of N'Golo Kante. I don't know if you guys remember him, that He used to play for Leicester City, and then he went to Chelsea, and now I think he's somewhere in Saudi Arabia. But that guy was a beast. He played CDM, central defensive midfielder, number 6, and he was a germ. I don't think there's any manager that could say they did not enjoy playing with N'Golo Kante. And he plays for France, actually. I mean, we all know he's very African, but yeah, he's a French African. How do you say it? Yeah. African American, African French. Does that work? African Japanese? No. African American, African French African. Excuse me. Wow, my throat. So anyway, N'Golo Kante, yeah, he used to walk around with like an old cracked phone, and apparently he wouldn't buy a new phone or the latest iPhone because that was not important to him. Yeah, he was just a very humble guy. He earned a lot of money, like all these players that play in the United Kingdom, or I should say in Europe. These guys that play in Europe or now Saudi Arabia, they really have truckloads of money. So it is really funny that he was walking around with an old iPhone that was cracked, and apparently he's just a very down-to-earth guy. And I must tell you, not all of them are like that. There are some guys who really go out of their way to show how much money they have, or they just blow it, or they buy like a bunch of cars. I don't know if you guys remember Asamoah Gyan, Ghanaian player back in the day, man. That guy used to have like nice cars, nice homes, and you could see him with his jewelry walking around. But he was like Brazep from Isidingo. Only South Africans will get this because he was a really, really cool guy. But there are many. Michael Essien was also reported to have been like a flamboyant guy, even though he was very quiet and very like a, I don't know what's going on with my throat. I think it's kind of dry in this room, in the studio. It's dry in the studio. Michael Essien, yeah, he was quite a very happy, lucky go guy. But yeah. So yeah, and then another thing that I thought about doing this lifestyle of African footballers was just how unfair this video was going to be. I was going to obviously not do all of them because there's plenty. I'd have to choose a few. And just by Googling the top 10 or top 15 highest paid African footballers, oh my goodness, it is so unfair. Like no South African makes it into the top 15. That is just crazy. My goodness, yeah. I've got a bit of a list just here, like the first open page that you get on Google about how much these guys get paid. Number one, and this is of 2025, last year. Number one is Riyad Mahrez at 930,000 euros per week. Every week, that's how much he gets. Almost €1 million every single week. Like what? Let's do a bunch of, I don't know, comparisons here. Like how much money is that in South African terms? It is insane. Okay, wait, come on, computer, don't do this to me now, dog. Not in the middle of people here. So anyway, I'm gonna just convert that 930,000. Ewan. PC, what's happening? You for some reason. Okay, sorry, yeah, we are back. 930,000 euros to rand. I don't want to see. Oh my soul. 17 million rand per week. Aye, Riyad Mahrez, come on, dog. Come on, 17 million rands. Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Ding! 17 million yakena. Inside. Next thing again, the cycle repeats. Another, how many weeks are there in a year or in a footballing calendar? In a year, there's 52 weeks. So 17 million times 52. Banna. These guys are billionaires in rand terms. Well, I'm sure they are billionaires in dollar and euro or pound terms as well, because this much money per week. Okay, look, I know they've got a lot of expenses. They have people to pay. They've got tax to pay as well. Well, Saudi Arabia, do they pay tax? But yeah, but they've got a lot of people to pay, you know, like their managers, the agents, social media, content creator people, medicals, all those people that may not be covered by a club or may not be covered by the sponsors. And also, yeah, forget that. This is the money outside of their sponsorships. Now imagine how much they get from sponsors as well. Number two, Sadio Mane. 754,000 euros every 7 days per week. Wait, is that how it works as well? The people that know all about football and stuff, like agent stuff, is that how much footballers, like every day I look at the calendar now, it says today is the 15th, yeah, Thursday 15th. Hey, but very 15th, did you also get paid? Yeah, it's the 15th. So let's say these guys get paid every end of the week, which is, let's say, Sunday. Sunday, Kadi 18, 931,000 euros goes into his account. And then again, Sunday, Kadi 25, on the 25th. Sorry, I keep doing this to look at the calendar. There's a calendar right here. Sunday, 25th. So every 7 days. Is that how it works? Is that how the money goes? Wow. I'm definitely in the wrong career. Like, oh lady, why couldn't you make a footballer out of me? You know, like when God asked you guys, what do you want your children to be? There, when you guys were conceiving me, why didn't you say a soccer star? Specifically the one that plays in Saudi Arabia. Banna. And then, what did you choose, mom? You chose meteorologist. This guy must be a weatherman. Next. Koulibaly. That guy's a defender. Khalido Koulibaly, a defender. He's 654,000 euros. These monies, what would you do with these monies? Like again, how would you compare or like see how unfair it is? Like I can't do a lifestyle video on all these players or on some of these players because it would be so unfair. I'm now gonna look up how much a South African football, the highest earning South African footballer, and see how much that is. I bet you it is nowhere near 931,000 euros per week. Wow, highest earning South African footballers, Sangoreras. Okay. No, guys. No, it cannot be. What? Okay, so this is from Google AI, like basically ChatGPT vibes. They're like, Pesitao. Man, I used to love that guy. He once played for Brighton, or he once featured a couple of times for Brighton FC, but I don't know what happened. Never materialized much. Pesita, who now plays for Al Ahly, gets around 2 million. Guys, come on. 2 million rands. 2 million rands per month. Per month, not per week. How much is 2 million in euros? Look, 2 million rands per month is still a lot of money, right? But 2 million spillion. 2 million rands in euros. Yeah, because we've been talking about euros. I mean, it's not bad. 104,000. So let's say 105,000 euros per month. That's how much the highest South African footballer earns, and that is per sita. Okay, let's see the ones that actually play football in South Africa. Let us see how much those guys make. There's a guy, Keegan Dolly, next on the list, it seems here. 145,000 rand per month. 145,000 rands per month. It feels to be a little bit. Oh my God. Yeah, also, everybody else watching other than South Africans and South Africans that speak Setswana, I apologize for too much Setswana today. I really have no idea why I'm speaking so much Setswana, but yeah, I completely apologize. Anyway, just hang tight for a second. I'll be right back. I'm getting cold here, so I need to turn up the heat before I freeze to death. Alrighty, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, it was getting kind of cold. Anyway, yeah, so Keegan Dolly sitting at 145,000 rands. Yeah, no, that sounds quite little. There's a guy called Samir Nukovic. I don't know where he's from. Oh, he used to play for Chiefs as well at some point. Yeah, he plays for SuperSport and he's reportedly sitting at whoa, okay. This is a big jump. 930,000 per month, almost 1 million rands per month. So seems like it's not too bad. So that would be just around 50,000 euros per month. So yeah, so look, to do the lifestyles of African footballers, how much they earn and what their lifestyles are, I think it was going to be very, slightly tricky and a little bit more a little bit unfair because the comparison between the big earners and people that play in a very big league. The Premier Soccer League is quite big on the African continent, so you can't really compare them to people that are playing in Saudi Arabia or in Europe. But yeah, so like I said, the top 10 African footballers, or the top 10 earners from African footballers, those include people like Sadio Mane, Khalido Koulibaly. There's plenty more. Mohamed Salah is there. It's actually unbelievable how little Mohamed Salah earns at Liverpool. I think he earns just around 400,000, right? Or maybe a little bit less. I'm not sure. 400,000. Wait, but that must be pounds. 400,000 pounds per week. Actually, I'm not really sure about Sadio Mane, but I know he has got a big contract there, which was renewed not long ago. And one of the reasons, did I say Sadio Mane? I meant Salah. Mohamed Salah, yeah. And one of the reasons Sadio Mane left, I think, was because he also wanted the big bucks, but they just wouldn't give him the money. Yeah, I see Victor Osimhen is also sitting quite high here. He plays for a team called Galatasaray in Turkey. 513,000 euros, man. This is serious dough, isn't it? These people are making the loot for real, for reals. Yeah, actually, I really do wonder. Oh, Sadio Mane plays for Al Nassr, same as Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, I do wonder what they get up to with their monies. I know Sadio Mane also is one of those philanthropist guys. He's very humble, sends money home as a good child should, like me, and builds hospitals, builds football grounds and football academies in Senegal, and there are many other players who do the same. But I feel like I wish they could be, or not they could be, like we could see a little bit of that flamboyancy. I remember certainly back in the day, in the 2010s, okay, maybe a little less than that, in the early mid 2000s. When I was in university, I told you how old I am. When I was in university, and soccer stars back then, or football stars, man, they used to enjoy their life. I used to see them around my university. In fact, I actually have a story for you. I must tell you about these footballers. But before I tell you this story, let me just finish my thought quickly. Yeah, those guys, they used to drive around with the latest cars. We used to see them at clubs and chisanyamas, and you could see that they really are enjoying their lives up until maybe the football career ends, and then you see the guys like struggling, and they didn't save up during their time, or they didn't go to school, they didn't do lots of things that were going to help them back up their career once their careers were finished. Yeah, and I remember there was a guy called Simba Marumo who opened some association or opened some organization that helped footballers after playing, like after their retirement and so on. I don't know how far that went, if he's still involved with that, but I think a lot of players in South Africa did or do need it. I mean, it's not uncommon. Also in Europe, you have a bunch of footballers who don't earn a lot, or their careers end early, and then it's curtains after that. They have to go and find a way of earning a living after night outs, partying in Paris. Didn't Ronaldo say, the original the Brazilian Ronaldo, didn't he say he used to go from a game in Spain when he played for Real Madrid? He used to go Saturday when the game finishes, gets on a flight all the way to Paris, parties the night away up until Sunday morning, and then Monday morning as well, gets on another flight or his own jet, who knows, flies back to Madrid at like 7 in the morning, gets there at 9, and training starts at 10. That kind of lifestyle. I know, South African footballers are not, based on how much they earn, they don't do crazy things like that. But everywhere else, people party based on what their countries allow them, or what their resources available to them allow them. But I do remember, the guys, Jabu Pules, Junior Kanya, back then, those guys were like really, really cheese boys. There was a guy called Lebohan Cheese Boy as well. Yeah, those guys, man, they used to have a nice life. Footballers' lives, man. They used to have gold chains, the latest cars. Now, I must tell you, back to the story of when I was in university, I think there was this VW Golf 4 had just came in, and wow, a lot of footballers drove that car. Or actually, a lot of cheese boys, people who were like flashy, they used to drive that car. And in my first year of university, I lived in a commune in Brixton. I don't know if you guys know Brixton in Well, many people know Brixton because it's close to the University of Johannesburg, and not the Brixton in London. But yeah, I went to University of Johannesburg, and I lived in a commune, which is basically a house that housed a bunch of students together. And I used to walk to university, and on one of these walks or whatever, during my time there, I met a really hot girl, hit on her, and then we went out on a date once or twice. And I thought, wow, this girl is the one. That girl was from Rustenburg. I remember her very clear. She used to live, the address of that in that street was Caroline Street 151, number 151. It was a big white house with a lot of students that lived there. A very big white house, I must say. I remember the details. Yeah, and I thought, oh my goodness, I have a hot girl that lives there. I remember telling this friend of mine, George, one of my first friends in university, this guy called George, still my best friend now. Sorry, Linda. You also are my best friend. And you to me. And you got many best friends. But George, I was telling George, I'm like, oh man, get very spono, no, you Shanda Pa. Very nice girl. George is like, yeah, no, can't wait to meet her. Yada, yada, yada. 2-3 weeks later, I'm walking down Caroline Street. Maybe this was around 7 p.m. on a summer night, so it's like nice and warm, and it's not even dark yet. 7 p.m. I'm walking down the street on Caroline Street, and I go past number 151. Next thing, there is a gold-colored Golf 4 there, dog. I'm like, wow, nice car. And inside, I see this guy, and you can see he's Mr. Cool. He's got like big locks. I won't mention by his name, but he used to play for Kaiser Chiefs. He had dreadlocks, not Simpiwe Chabalala. There was another one. Yeah. That guy walks out, and I'm like starstruck there as I'm walking past, and I'm looking at him. And then out comes a girl out of 151. Now, obviously, when she's coming out of 151, it grabs my attention because that's where, the standard that I had met lives. I stop Nyana there. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Clacks! Comes this girl out, bruh. This girl that I thought I had a thing with. Now, she's getting into, I nearly said his name. She's getting into the guy's car, the Golf. Hey, Batung, I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on? I'm rubbing my eyes there. It's a show. In fact, South African footballers, dangerous guys, those guys. Maybe that's why when my mom was choosing what career I'm gonna be, she's like, no, not a South African footballer. Hell no, hell no. But that was there. But I didn't even care at that time because, well, I cared, little heartbreak, but I didn't care because, what else is he gonna do? He's a footballer. He's got money. He's got fame. He's got everything going for him at that time. So of course he's gonna go out and get university girls or whatever girls that he wanted at that time. But that used to be the lifestyle. I remember there was another guy called Jabulani Mendu. Man, I used to idolize that guy as well. He went and played for Sundowns after playing for Kaizer Chiefs, and he rocked up one day. I think at this time I was working at SABC. I'm not really sure. Yeah, and on a Saturday morning, he passed by Auckland Park on Henley Drive. Yeah, and I saw him driving past, and it's like a short street, so you can't really drive fast. And when you drive past down there, from Campus Square side, basically, and you're going to the Bunting Road campus of UJ, driving down that way. And he's passing by there slow with a compressor Mercedes, dog. And I was like, wow. Look at these guys, man. That used to be the life back then. But now, I guess not so much. And I wonder if footballers now are just as bad boys as the ones that were back in when I was like a young man, when I was a younger person. If they're having as much fun, because obviously they get paid a lot now, and the social media now, and the resources or things. There are a lot more things to do now compared to what it was like in the late 90s or early 2000s when our footballers, when Black Jesus Karangovese was still the man. Yeah, so I wonder what the new footballers, what they do now. Like, Keegan Doley, you guys, what do you get up to with your 2 million rands a month? What do you guys do there, man? Must be nice. Must be. Yeah, this actually makes me think as well. Like, salaries are just not competitive everywhere else in the world, other than like really well developed countries. Actually, wait, let me phrase it. Like, I feel like salaries in South Africa are not competitive with the rest of the world because these guys, they all play the same kind of football. And they are good. South Africa PSL is very good. The quality is great. It's not fantastic or anything. It's not like like the best league in the world or anything, but the football is great. These guys, they've got lots of talent. It's very competitive. I remember there were days when PSL used to get decided on one day. Remember that one time when Pirates won the treble for the second time, but 3 teams could win. I think at that time it was maybe Pirates, Ajax Cape Town, and I don't know what other team. But you hardly ever get one horse races. Well, ever since Sundowns have been just bullying all of us out of the park. But you rarely ever get these one horse races. So it is quite competitive. It is quite interesting. But yeah, I guess maybe it's just not well funded. The money is just not there, you know. Yeah, it kind of sucks. But yeah, but these rich countries, Saudi Arabia, Europe, those guys, they earn the big bucks. And that's, I guess, why we spend so much time watching them. That's why I watch so much Manchester United, even though they're really terrible. Yeah, and teams like Chippa United down in South Africa, you know, where the owners came from rags to riches, are really struggling. Yeah, I wonder how Chippa United is doing now. The Chili Boys, man, what a beautiful story they had. But yeah, quite unfair. So yeah, that is me rambling on about why I couldn't really do this comparison or the lifestyles of footballers, because yeah, it is quite crazy, you know, trying to do a comparison between Riyad Mahrez, who earns almost €1 million a week, 1 week, €1 million. Yeah, what he does with it, and I think Riyad Mahrez is also quite a boring guy. You know, I don't even see what he would do with his money. Probably just sits at home, plays 5 PlayStations at the same. I'm just being better. I'm sorry. Yeah, I wonder what Riyad Mahrez would get up to. Where are the bad boys of football these days, man? The Ronaldinhos. You remember the Ronaldinho, Adrianos? Those guys used to be bad boys. Now you've got the Mo Salahs, man. These guys are too serious. And also, I guess because they are way more bigger role models now, or there's so much more scrutiny on them compared to what it was like back in the day. Because back in the day, there wasn't so much social media. I mean, paparazzi was just a bunch of people running behind you with cameras, you know. So it wasn't that crazy. Inaki Williams of Ghana, wow, yeah, he also makes up quite a bit. At number 10, he earns €105,000 per week at Athletic Bilbao. Yeah, not bad. Ashraf Hakimi, yeah, the captain of Morocco, isn't he? Yeah, he plays for PSG. He's also a little bit there at the bottom of the list, €139,000. But yeah, again, these are all African footballers that apply their strength or their talents in Europe or in the Middle East, where yeah, the big dough is. I just see Edouard Mendy is also here from Senegal. He's a goalkeeper. He's basically similar to Andre Onana. They're really terrible goalkeepers. Now he plays for Al Ahly and he earns €207,000. Yeah, that's quite a bit. Yeah, yeah. Well, these guys, man, they really are set for years and years to come. Yeah, people that have more knowledge, my knowledge doesn't stretch very far. I depend on Google here to see what's happening. Bongani Zungu from Amazulu. It's also listed as one of the top earners for Premier Soccer League. Kama Billiard still plays football. What? Scotland FC in Zimbabwe. Oh, okay. Seems like he's also getting quite a bit. That is quite interesting. Yeah. South African players, yeah, in other countries, like the ones that play in South Africa, South African players that play in the United States, the MLS, they seem to be getting quite a bit of dough as well. But it's mostly the ones that are playing in the Middle East or North African countries that are actually getting a lot of the cash. I remember Sundowns used to be a big payer as well of salaries. A lot of players used to leave Chiefs, or well, basically they left many teams to go play for Sundowns, and we used to accuse them for saying, they just went there for. One that I can think of at the top of my head is Rivaldo Kutsia. I remember he was such a good defender, that guy, but he was plagued by injuries. I used to love him. He was a really, really good player. But yeah, he went and played for Sundowns, or rather, he went and warmed the bench for Sundowns. And yeah, we used to say, no, that's basically because of the money that he can make there. And I don't blame them. Guys, go out there and get the dough. Get the dough. If you can leave South Africa to go play for a terrible team or go do a terrible job outside of South Africa but earn enough money, if that's your goal, man, I will not blame you. I'm not going to say, hey, yeah, sit there working for Toyota, earning small amounts of money. And yes, I am taking a jab at someone who's working for Toyota. Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying, if you enjoy in your job, if you want to do what you want to do, if you want to do continue doing what you're doing in South Africa or in Kenya, Kenya, Zimbabwe, wherever it is, yeah, go for it. But if you feel like you're gonna sell out and you wanna go overseas and do, I had this thing once. I remember I was sitting at SABC with a friend of mine, and we were doing this show called The Weekend Live at that time. It's morning live, basically during the weekend, and we used to just ask each other like simple, silly questions. And I said, and I remember she asked me, said, if you could go overseas and work a graveyard shift, do the same job as you're doing for morning live, but you do a graveyard shift there. So meaning you work like on Christmas, or you work early hours in the morning, or you work only on weekends, but you earn more and you get better experience than what you're doing, than the big show or the famous one in South Africa. What would you choose? I did not even blink. I knew for a fact that I would definitely go overseas, do a graveyard shift. I don't care if I worked for like CNN, but I only work at like 3 a.m. in the morning. It's a bigger loot, it's more experience, and yeah, get to live overseas, get to live away from my home. I mean, I'm already doing it. I guess for me, it's always been something that I've always wanted. I wanted to leave South Africa at some point. But yeah, but we used to ask each other those questions, like, what would you do? Would you choose a prime time slot in South Africa? Like, for example, whatever job you do now, would you choose to be like the boss in South Africa, or do a prime time, very famous slot in South Africa? Or would you go work a graveyard shift, terrible hours, but more money, and live in a different country? What would you do? Yeah. So that's that. Yeah. For example, like someone like Percy Tau could play for Sundowns and win all the trophies. It's be a big player in South Africa, or go to Al Ahly, where he is not like the best player, or he's not like playing every single game, for example. He's not the main man. Yeah, but he's getting a different experience in life. He's earning more money, and yeah, he's just spreading his wings. Yeah. What would you do? That kind of situation, Yeah, I think about it sometimes as well, because that's how it goes sometimes when you leave your country, basically. Yeah, I've trailed off so much in this video, guys. Yeah, but anyway, like I had mentioned long time ago, that my videos are not mainly going to be about football. It's just for the time being while the Africa Cup of Nations is taking place. And now that it's coming to an end, I guess this edition of these videos will end. And then I'll go back into, or not go back, I will carry on. I'll be talking about random other stuff that's been happening in Japan, just like I told you before about my life and the things that I get up to here. If you're not gonna see those videos on Black Vibes Japan with me and Evans, then you'll get to see some of them here. I'm basically just using this platform as a training ground for making videos. This is nothing major for me, or nothing intense. Yeah, I do like shooting videos. I do like recording myself. That's why I work on TV, I guess. I really do like being in front of the camera. So I'm gonna keep practicing. Hopefully I get better at presenting, get better at editing these videos, and also get better at coming up with cool topics. If there's anything you want to find out about me, about Japan, about the lifestyle I live here, the things I get up to, if you want to talk about Manchester United, which I probably will be doing in the next video because there is that big derby coming up, yeah, feel free, hit me up in the comments. Yeah, share with your friends, and let's see if you can grow this channel, and let's see if we can just keep moving forward, and see if I can keep producing these videos. With that, I will say goodbye. I gotta go. I'm going to play a little bit of futsal, indoor football, although it will be outdoors. It is cold. I complain about the cold, but yeah, it's been a while. I'd like to go play for a little bit, and then I'll see you again sometime next week. By the time I record the next episode, the final would have played. Senegal would have been crowned the champions of Africa after beating Morocco 3-1, not 3-0, 3-1. Yeah, maybe a brace from Sadio Mane coming up in the final. Holding fingers. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I know the topic just went haywire. Just like this this outro is getting longer and longer for me to wrap up. Yeah, this video also went in all sorts of directions. Yeah, lifestyle of footballers. They actually are not that interesting. I mean, it's very straightforward, I think, for me. go to practice, eat nice food, good food, I mean, avoid paparazzi, have a good time, earn a lot of money, and go back to practice and then play shit football again. I think I've just described the Manchester United player there. But yeah, that's that. And we now know that they get paid a whole lot, 17 million rands for what that guy's name, Riyad Mahrez, every single week. Yeah, that is quite a lot of money. Yeah, and I'm also curious, yeah, does that money, do they get paid? Because, I mean, I get paid per day at my job, but it gets put up nicely into a package and then they put it into my account at the end of the month. Does that work the same way for the footballers as well? They get paid per week, but it gets put up in a package and then it gets paid out at the end of the month? Or do they get the whole amount at the end of the year? I wonder, yeah. Anyway, yeah, enough digress. I gotta go. I'm actually running late for this futsal. Do you have a good time, guys? It's very winter. It's very cold here. Japan is about to go through one of the snowiest couple of days, maybe the snowiest week to come. We will probably be the most snowy country ever. Yeah, for this next couple of days. We're expecting close to like 100 inches of snow in certain places, which means it is time to go snowboarding. All right, guys, that's all. See you in the next one. Like, subscribe, do all those cool things. Otherwise, have a good time. And remember, Manchester United is the best football team in the world. Whether you agree or not, it has nothing to do with me.